Hey everyone, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the July garden tour. So it is about 7:30 in the evening. I'm just going to take you guys around the garden to show you what everything is looking like. This is not going to be a full in-depth tour like I normally do. I'm not going to go through every single plant and talk about each one. I'm just going to kind of point some things out that I'm really enjoying in the garden. So I normally start here in my front garden bed. I do want to take you guys around the corner first, and then I'll work my way back to the front. So to start off July's tour, I'm going to start over here with my glorious Limelight Hydrangea head. You guys, it is prime hydrangea season. I look forward to their show every single year. It gets better and better. So I know I said I wasn't going to do too much talking. I just really want to kind of show you guys around the garden what's blooming. But I do want to adjust why this one here on the end is smaller than all of the other ones. This one is a Limelight that I got on clearance for $5, and it's only been in the ground since last fall. All of the rest of these have been in the ground at least 3 seasons or more. So this one will catch up. I do prune these very hard every spring and they just flush out with new growth. These are Paniculata Hydrangeas, so they bloom on new growth, so you can prune them as hard as you want and they'll still produce new blooms for you the same year. And yeah, you guys, I just look at that. I love when they're in the bright white. At night, it looks so pretty. It's almost like a moon garden where they glisten in the moonlight. So stunning. And then later on in the season, they will start to put on more of a pink mauve tone for the fall. But yeah, so pretty, you guys. This is my pride and joy bed. So this hydrangea right here is my Endless Summer. And y'all, it is loaded with blooms this year. This is the best it has performed for me. It did come out earlier with white blooms. They aged to a bright pink, and now they're turning their fall mauve tone, which I still think is beautiful. And looks like I have just a rogue purple tone here, which I don't mind. So pretty. I did decide to leave this one here. I had put out a question to you guys if I should switch this out to a little lime or a Bobo Hydrangea, just to keep it in line with the Limelight look. And I decided to leave this here just because it's doing so well, and I love that when I look out the window, it doesn't block the window. If I had Limelights here, my view would be obstructed looking out of the window. So that is why this one oddball hydrangea is here. And then down below it, my Liriape are doing great, coming back and flushing out with their new growth for the year. I did cut these all the way down to the ground earlier. So yeah, so pleased with how well this bed is doing, you guys. So glorious. OMG. Swinging around to the backyard. Again, this is a whole work in progress, you guys. All of the perennials are pretty much done blooming. I had some phlox here that is pretty much spent. I probably will go in and cut those back so they can maybe give me a second flush of blooms. My Selines, unfortunately, have not come out with their second flush. They did bloom glorious this spring. So yeah, if you guys missed that video, go back and check out some of my spring tours. In front of that, I have a row or hedge, drift, whatever you want to call it, of some Beard's Tongue. It looks like I've lost this one here, which is no worries. I actually have one potted up in a container that I can just pop in the ground. No problem there. And then I have a line of Vika here lining the bed. They have been struggling just because we've been getting so much rain. Vincas do not like a lot of moisture, you guys, so they do look a little rough, and this part of the bed actually got ran over by a truck. So everything here got mashed. There's a little groove here where the truck went, and it literally smashed my daylily, broke the bloom stalk off of it. So I'm hoping that this will be okay. I'm pretty sure the roots underground are untouched, and it will bloom for me next year. So sad, but I'm looking forward to it next year. Another Limelight here. This is a tree form on standard that I picked up. This one was actually pruned very hard earlier this season. If you guys remember, this was my lopsided hydrangea, and it has flushed out with some growth. So I'm hoping next season it will look more like a full round canopy of a tree, but still doing great. Back behind that, I have tucked in a clearance plant holly here, and then I have a daylily here. I forgot to show you guys the daylily on this side. I already has done blooming for the year. And then back behind that is just some lavender. I really need to come in here and clean up this bed, you guys. I probably will do that sometime next week. But yeah, unfortunately not in time for the video, but this is real life gardening, you guys. So in this bed here in the back row, I have 3 Wine and Roses Weigelas. They have the dark foliage and bloom hot pink blooms in the springtime. I have 2 Spireas planted here on each side. They bloom gorgeous pink flowers. I still have a few buds opening up so you guys can see the color. They look glorious in the springtime. So I'll come back and shear those blooms off next week as well. In the center here is my Shasta Daisy. This one is budding up, getting ready for its fall show. I cannot wait. This thing has gotten huge, you guys. And then down here are 3 salvia that I got on clearance. They are still rehabbing. I need to come in and trim up the spent blooms on that there. And then here on the end, I have some balloon flowers that are pretty much done blooming for the season. Here is their color. So pretty. Did not know they get this tall, but next year I know what to do. And then behind that, I have a Arborvitae here. This one is called De Groot's Arborvitae. It stays very, very narrow. It only gets about 2 feet wide, but it does get 8 to 10 feet tall. So I want this to be a nice columnar structure here lining my entry. I have one mirroring it on this side as well. So this bed is pretty much mirroring the same thing on the other side. 3 Wine and Roses Weigelas, 2 Spireas, and then I did have a Shasta Daisy that I was trying to rehab that I got on clearance. Unfortunately, I lost that one due to a water issue. So I did pick up this plant here. This is actually an anemone that I have yet to get in the ground. Here's a look at the tag for you guys. This is a perennial. It blooms cute little pink flowers. Here's a look at the blooms. They're a little bit crispy, but I'm excited for their show. So I will be getting this in the ground right after the video so that I can see this gorgeous show that they're getting ready to put on. I've got the soil all ready to go here. More salvia here. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. And then I still have some vinca lining this bed as well. Daylily there. These are some Snapdragons that I picked up from my farmer's market. They have been struggling the entire season just because they've been getting so much moisture. But they're so pretty, you guys. I definitely plan on repeating those, probably in a different location next year, somewhere that gets more sun and less water. I have them tucked in underneath another Limelight on standard. And then this is another daylily that has done blooming for the year already. I need to come in and trim out those blooms. Back behind that, I have 2 Weigelas. These are, ooh, I can't remember the name of these. I'll insert the name for you guys. I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but these do also bloom hot pink flowers, but this one has the lime green foliage. I have another Limelight back here. Yes, you guys know I love my Paniculata Hydrangeas. And then back behind it, you can barely see it, but I do have a Blue Point Juniper, which is struggling. It's getting way too much water from the runoff of my gutters. So I will be relocating that. And then here are 3 Sunshine Ligustrums. Doing great. I got those on clearance, pruned them all the way down to the ground. So I'm glad to see their new growth is doing so well. This right here is a rainbow Euphorbia, you guys. It bloomed gorgeous. Obviously, it's done blooming, so I need to come here and trim off the bloom stalks, but it's loving its life in this space. Down here is another balloon flower that I picked up on clearance. This one is the white blooming or pink blooming, whichever you want to call it. I think it's kind of like a baby pink. Very, very pretty. And then here I have more Celines that bloomed earlier this spring. And then down in front of that are some lavender. These are actually Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. Here in my pots, I just placed these here temporarily while I was cleaning off my patio. These are some old Canna Lilies. I've had these, probably 4 years at this point. And they just do great, you guys. They come back every year. They bloom. They're done blooming. I have a couple weeds I need to clean out of the pot there, but they're just doing their little thing. Over here, I have another hibiscus. This one is a lavender hibiscus. Over here, I have a fluffy golden arborvitae, doing great, loving its life. Back behind that, tucked in the corner, is a boxwood that used to live in my front garden bed. It's doing all right. It does yellow a little bit from all the rain that it's getting, but I think it's starting to adjust. So I'm going to leave it there for now. And then surrounding the tree, I just have 3 Stella de Oro daylilies tucked in. This right here is a gigantic rock that you guys just saw me dig up out of my new bed, which, speaking of that, is right here behind me. So this right here is my brand new bed. I just created this last week, and this is what I am calling Rehab Row. So this bed is going to hold all of the distressed plants that I find on clearance until I find a permanent home for them. I do have plans to create a whole lot of new beds back here, which is all in the works. So in the meantime, these plants will live here in this bed. I'm not going to go through them because I literally just did a tour of all of these plants as well as a haul video. So you guys check out the links in the description box if you're interested in more information on this plant here, or this bed I should say. But yeah, so excited about everything happening in the garden. So everything here on the patio is doing okay. My hibiscus has only put out a few blooms so far. This is the hot pink Luna hibiscus I rehabbed last year from clearance. I have some Priscillas down here that are looking a little bit leggy. I probably will need to go in and trim these back. Same thing with my Calibrachoa. My elephant ears have been doing great, you guys. I did have to cut off that one leaf that was getting attacked by the Japanese beetles, but since then it has been fine. I haven't seen any additional beetles on it at all. My pot down here I need to cut back. It literally just in the past couple of days has started to look kind of scraggly, so I'm going to cut this one back as well. My holly is doing great here. I have another Crepe Myrtle in this container as well as a Dracaena marginata. And then I was trying to rehab some plants in this planter and it looks like they didn't survive, so I'm going to have to pull those out. However, the Bird of Paradise is doing great. I also have some hibiscus blooming. So pretty, you guys. These are the ones that were sent to me from Costa Farms, doing amazing. I also had some clearance plants that died in here, so I'll have to pull those. This is the other beard's tongue that I stated I had to replace the other one that died. So I'll just pop this in the ground, no problem at all. This planter is doing a lot better than the other one, but I still think I'm going to go in and cut it back so it can flush out with some new growth. And then the same thing repeated in this container here. I have some Calibrachoa hybrids as well as some elephant ears. And then lastly, I have my Bobo Hydrangea here. This used to live in the bed right in front of this Vigila. Popped it out of the ground, put it in the container, and it's just been doing great. So that is pretty much it for my patio. I did pretty much move everything off. I pressure washed the patio. Still trying to decide on what color I want to stain it because the paint is chipping and I really don't like this color. So that will be an upcoming project for you guys. Swinging around to the east side of my house, this is where I have my shade garden. You guys ignore my hose. I have been watering all day. It's been super hot and muggy here in North Carolina. I'm in Garden Zone 7B. So anywho, here I have my Pinky Winky hydrangea on standard. This is a tree form Pinky Winky hydrangea. Another panicle bloom. This one is already starting to color up, you guys, to its pink hues. I'm so excited about this tree. And then down below that, I have some Calibrachoa that are looking a little bit wilted just because I just watered them. They haven't quite perked up from the water and it is getting late in the evening. But these look so pretty tucked in underneath this tree. I think the combination goes well with the light pink and white. Here in the front is a Fascia japonica spider's web. Love this plant. It's doing great. I bought this plant literally for like $5. It only had, I think, 3 leaves when I bought it. So it's loving its life here. Tucked in front of that, I have some wave petunias that were just left over from a clearance flat that I got. So I just tucked them in here, hoping that they would flush out. But again, this is a shade garden, you guys. They don't get enough sun to perform the way that they should. So I will probably do some begonias or something more shade tolerant this side next year. Behind that is a hydrangea. This one blooms white, large flowers. So this is a macrophylla, but I pruned this one so hard, you guys. I didn't even get any blooms this year. So it'll probably bloom for me next year, which is fine. I'm just enjoying the nice lush green of its leaves. Here is a Brother Stephan Hosta. I have a Canna Lily here that is getting way too much moisture. I will have to relocate that to a more sunny spot next year. But this has white blooms. Here I have an emerald green Arborvitae planted in my container, doing great. Here is my giant Calla Lily, you guys, and Unfortunately, I didn't catch it while it was in full bloom, but I do have one bloom here left. There is a dead bee on the inside, which I'm just gonna let it be there. So this was its first bloom that it put out. It spent, this was the second one, and this is its third. So happy, happy, happy with this plant here. It's so pretty, you guys. I love the foliage. I love the speckles. I love the ruffles. I love the huge blooms. It's just all around perfection. Here I have 3 salvia. These are annual salvia called Vista salvia. Doing all right. I'm not in love with this salvia, you guys. I had some purple ones planted in my front bed. I actually ended up pulling those and replacing them. So yeah, these are just annual here in my bed. They did okay, but next year I will be doing something different. I did miss a couple of my hydrangeas I have in the back here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planted in a hedge. They are all white blooming hydrangeas, and I do plan on letting them grow right up underneath my window here. I probably will be adding a window box at some point, but I'm excited to see this fill in as just a lush green hedge with huge white blooms. Another brother Stephan Hosta here. I have a Canna Lily that is still not loving all of the shade that it's getting, so I'll have to move that one. This is another giant Calla Lily. This one I have not gotten any blooms on, you guys. I don't know what's going on, but I've been enjoying its foliage, so no complaints there. This down here was a Brunnera, Queen of Hearts, that I think is getting too much moisture and too much sunlight, so unfortunately I will be digging that up. So my air conditioning just came on. I hope you guys can hear me okay, but right here I have 3 Fire and Ice Hostas. They're doing all right. They are getting a little bit sun scorched. They are baby plants, you guys. This is their first season in the ground, so I'm pretty sure they'll do better next year. Behind that, I have some Solomon Seal that I got from the farmer's market, doing great. This is a Praying Hands Hosta. I've got 3 Iconia grasses that are struggling just a bit. This one I actually just replanted into the ground earlier today. I had to dig it up because I accidentally spilled some grass killer and I didn't want it to burn the roots. So I had dug it up, put it in a pot, and forgot about it, so it got a little bit fried. But I'm hoping that it'll survive, you guys. I'm not sure what's going on with this Praying Hands Hosta here. It has looked like this all season long, so I'm unfortunately just gonna have to dig that one up. Up here in my little basket, I have another Hosta. And then here I have 3 Distiliums planted here that I got on clearance. They are finally starting to color up, you guys. These were so yellow when I first got them. They're still looking a little leggy and bare. I am going to trim these in the fall, just so that next spring they can flush out nice and full. I have 2 Francie Hostas in this bed here. I did also attempt to plant some wave petunias that did not do well, so I'll be pulling those. And then lastly, this is my Lungwort that was dying in my front garden bed that has come back. So pretty and lush, you guys. Get into those speckles. Loving it. Here around my trash can landing, I did plug in some plugs from my front bed. These are chocolate chip ajuga that are starting to fill out. I cannot wait for this whole area to fill in, you guys. This will help suppress all of the weeds that grow around this trash can. I'm so excited. Swinging up to the front, I have another Limelight Tree on standard, doing great. Its blooms are looking so lovely. I love this bright white color. Ooh, I'm so excited. My fountain grasses are doing well, you guys. The box is almost completely disguised, which is what I was going for. And it's also starting to put out some of its plumes. I do have a lavender tucked in here that I got on clearance that is trying to rehab itself. I probably need to give it a cut back, which I'll do after this video. All right, so moving towards the driveway, here I have another emerald green Arborvitae. You guys, this is getting so tall. It's almost as tall as my light here. Can you guys see that? I'm so excited. When I first planted these, they were only like this tall. They were babies. So it's grown so much over the 4 years that it's been in the ground. Here I have a Luna Hibiscus. This one is perennial. This is almost done blooming. I think all of, oh no, you guys, I got some new buds coming. So this is just gonna keep reblooming, I guess, for the rest of fall. I love this shrub, you guys. I'll insert a picture of when the blooms are open so you guys can see it. And then I have a little hedge of my little Arborvitae balls doing amazing, starting to get full and round. I'm gonna move my way down here to my barberry bed. So here I have an abelia. This one is in bloom. So pretty. I love the pink with the little white on the tips. I think it's so cute. And then here in my elephant planter, I have just some annuals. This is a barberry. I have a Japanese maple here that is getting a little bit fried, but I think it'll be fine. This right here is a butterfly bush. This one is called Pugster. Doing great. The pollinators love this. There's bees all over this throughout the day, you guys. Another abelia here, doing great. I have 3 barberries planted there in a cluster. I think these 2 are called Pygmy. This one is, ooh, I think that one's like Firelight or something like that. I can't remember. And then I have a rose barberry here. This right here is actually a euonymus. This is a white and green variegated euonymus. Getting so full. This one was so bare and I just didn't think it was going to survive, you guys, when I got it on clearance, but I'm so glad it's fleshed out. And then another rose barberry here. Crossing over to my mailbox bed, everything is doing great. I did cut back my annuals hard all the way down to the base just because they were getting so brown from all of the rain that we were getting. And when I was doing my pruning, I forgot to cut a limb off. So this is what the blooms look like. They're gorgeous. This is some verbena. And then this one also is a verbena. And then these 2 are calabricoas. Unfortunately, the blooms have already closed up for the evening. Oh wait, there's one for you guys. So I'm hoping this will fill out again before fall comes. In the center, I just have a gold Arborvitae. This is another one of my Arborvitae balls that I transplanted, doing great. I have 2 Carissa hollies, and then the same thing mirrored on that side. Here in the center, I have another abelia, doing great. It's starting to put out its blooms, and a bumblebee is just loving them right now. And then this is another fire something barberry. Okay, you guys, we are starting to run out of daylight. This is what my tree ring is currently looking like. I cleaned out all of the double petunias that I had in this bed. It just was not looking the way that I envisioned it initially. They were getting really leggy, so I just pulled them all out. So now all I have left is my ring of heucheras, which are doing amazing. And I only have 2 of the liriope left that survive. And it looks like I might be losing that one in the back. Is starting to yellow out. So I will probably pull these 2 before they die completely and relocate those. And I have a whole nother plan already for this bed. So you guys will see me plant that up in another video. I do want to mention really quick this new hedge that I have put in. So I'm not sure if you guys follow me on Instagram. If you do, you've probably seen on my stories where I had a disaster grass cutting job, I guess you can say, from whoever is maintaining my neighbor's property. They just butchered my grass over here. So I have gone ahead and popped in a hedge. These are Manhattan euonymus. So another variety that is very fast growing, but it's just a lush green shrub, you guys. These do get about 5 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. I probably will keep them pruned right around the 3 to 4 foot range, and I don't want them to touch completely. I still want space in between them. So I'm hoping that they'll grow quickly. All right, so back to the front. I have in the very front here a drift of Supertunia Bordeaux petunias here. Y'all, this is my favorite petunia. You will see me use it every year in my garden. It's doing great. I think I'm about ready to go in and trim it back so it can flush out with another flush of blooms. It was getting a little bit shrouded by the potato vine, which I did just do a harsh prune job on. This is Marguerite sweet potato vine. It was covering half of my petunias here. It had swallowed all of this space completely, and it was crawling into my coleus. So it's back under control. I know it's going to keep running, but that's just what sweet potato vine does, y'all. Right here I have a heuchera. This is Prima Wild Rose, doing great. I just cut back all of its bloom stalks. This coleus, you guys, it is just amazing. This is the Golden Dreams coleus. I am definitely going to repeat it every year. I love the color of this coleus. My lungwort is still doing great. I did used to have another heuchera here, Prima Wild Rose, that was in my dead zone. It was dying, so I popped in this cute little elephant statue here, which I'm just in love with, you guys. Let me know what you think. I picked this up from Roses for $15. It is a super heavy statue, you guys, for the price. And y'all know that I love elephants. I think it just adds a lot to the garden space here. You guys let me know what you think. I was going to put a container there and pop in, actually do 2 containers just to give it a little bit of height to plant my heucheras in so that they wouldn't be burning and what's going on in my dead zone. But I kind of like the statue. I don't know, I'm torn. So you guys let me know what you think. In the back row, I have just replaced a Crepe Myrtle that I had lost, so that is the new one. I do also have, you can barely see it, but that is a Hosta tucked in there. A boxwood in the center. That white stuff you're seeing is just some 7 dust. I had an ant issue around that plant, so the ants are gone. 7 dust did its job. I have a English Roseum rhododendron here, another boxwood, and then another Cryptomeria tucked back there. And there also is, let me step in here, a Hosta, which you can barely see. And then over here, you guys, is my monster Hosta. I have no clue what this variety is. I know a lot of you have dropped names. I have no clue what this is. I got it so long ago. It is getting a little bit sun-fried. It does this every year, which I don't mind. I just love the lush, bold green foliage of this plant. I do have 2 sedums here. These are Autumn Joy Sedum, getting ready to put on their show for the fall. Behind that, I have a Euonymus. And then this right here is another hydrangea, y'all. This one is a little lime, doing amazing, and the blooms are starting to already color up for fall. Oh, so pretty. Right here I have a daylily. This is actually 3 plants all planted together, and I think I only have a few buds left. Let's see. Yeah, just a couple more left. I have already cut back most of the bloom stalks, but these blooms are so gorgeous, you guys. Love this daylily. Here in this pot is another Euonymus. And then swinging around this way, this is my ground cover. This is Chocolate Chip Ajuga. If you guys have seen my spring garden tour, you know that this is just a huge sea of purple blooms every spring. I love it. It's just literally, you can't see any of the foliage. It's just all purple blooms. But when the blooms die back, you're left with this gorgeous green and brown tone foliage. So I think Chocolate Chip fits perfectly as its name. In here I have just some petunias that I picked up from the farmer's market. I have some white angelonia that's looking a little spent. I need to give that a trim back. This right here is some calibrachoa that I popped in. The petunias that I had originally planted in here, I think were called Night Sky. They were kind of like I had a pink one here, and then up here I had purple. They had looked like bleach splashed on them, and all the rain that we got, they just were doing horrible. They drowned, root rot, whatever you want to call it. So I popped those out, put this in here. It is doing great. And this one I literally just picked up on clearance 2 days ago, popped it in. So I'm probably going to have to trim some of this just so it can flush out with new growth. But this one does have a mixture of colors. It has pink, yellow, and also orange blooms. So excited to see that fill out. And I'm going to give you guys a quick run through of what's happening on the patio. I'm just about out of daylight. Here is one of my containers here that I did. Very simple. This is a Crepe Myrtle that I have in the center. Below that I have some double wave petunias popped in. And then this is the other heuchera, you guys, that was dying in my dead zone where I have the elephant planter. So I just popped it in here. It's literally only been in here maybe a day. So I'm hoping that it will rehab and come back to life. Over here, this is another mini little rehab section that I have going on, only because my rehab bed is in full sun and these need shade. So this is a house plant that I actually brought outside. This is a Triostar Stromanthe that is doing great, putting out so much new foliage. I'm so happy with how well this is doing outside. This is another Calathea I have here that is putting out new blooms. I was rehabbing it. Happy to see that one coming back. And then these two here are 2 hibiscus, I'm sorry, not hibiscus, these are hydrangeas that I got on clearance. I had cut them back because they were so dried and fried. This one looks like it's doing a lot better than the other one, but these are Invincibelle Mini Mauvette, you guys. So excited to see them coming back. Over here I have my container arrangement. This is an Iconia Begonia, doing great. Love the orange blooms against the dark foliage. This right here is a cordyline. Love the magenta on this. This is a clearance hibiscus that I picked up, and let's see if I can show you guys a bloom. Here we go. Let's see, there we go. So pretty, you guys. It is a double, it's not even a double. This is like a quadruple ruffle bloom. So pretty. It was in full bloom, and it looks like it's getting ready to open up some new buds. So I'm excited for this. This wasn't even really like that bad a condition when I got it. I don't know why it was on clearance, but I'm not gonna complain. Behind that is another one of my hibiscus trees. I've had this one for about 2 or 3 years now. I can't remember. I do bring this in every single year to overwinter in my garage, and it comes back every year nicely with some new pink blooms, which right now looks like I don't have any buds to show you guys, but I will insert a picture. Down below that, I have 2 impatiens here. This one blooms orange flowers. This one blooms pink. And then 2 Rex begonias. These Rex begonias are actually houseplants. And they're supposed to be annual in my area, but these 2 exact plants, I haven't even replaced these, have been in this pot for 3 seasons now. They come back every year, so I'm going to say these are perennial in my area. Down here, I have another house plant. This is another Triostar that is doing great in its pot, just loving its life. And then here I have 2 hydrangeas that I have yet to get in the ground. These are, what are you called? City Line Paris Big Leaf Hydrangea. So I think these are a little bit more compact. Yes, these only get 1 to 3 feet tall and wide. So just a cute little hydrangea. I plan on putting these in some containers and keeping them up here on the patio. This right here is a Macho Fern. So you guys know normally I do the Boston ferns every year. Boston ferns just shed like crazy, and it drives me insane. The Boston ferns are gorgeous. However, I like the Macho Ferns because they don't shed, you guys. And they're just as big and bold and lush. So yeah, I will be doing this every year as well. And then last but not least, over here we have Miss Cleopatra. She is doing great in her container. I'm hoping to get her in the ground this fall so that she can start to multiply and naturalize. But she is getting ready to put out her first bloom. So excited. So this blooms a yellow and red bloom, you guys. And just look at her foliage. Even if she's not in bloom, I just enjoy her leaves so much. I love the stripes on her leaves. I think it's so unique. And yeah, she's just loving her life here. All right, so that is pretty much it, you guys. That is going to wrap up my July garden tour. I'm sorry it was a bit rushed, but as you can see, the sun is going down. Everything is looking so full and vibrant and lush, you guys. I love July. We are heading into August. Things are going to start getting tired, starting to die back, but my fall blooms will pick up where my summer blooms left off. So keep that in mind when you're planting your gardens. Make sure you're planting for all seasons so that you have interest all year round, even in the winter time. Make sure you're tucking in some evergreens so that your annuals die back and your beds don't just look bare and empty in the winter time. So just a little tip there. Thank you guys so much for watching this tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, comment down below. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more from me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.